It's time to watch one more. Here we go. Ground Zero up against Bros on their toes. And Jake, this is going to be tough, but I want to see Bros on their toes take it to Ground Zero.
Yeah, and I'm already seeing Asmo is the Bengo lookalike, so good to know his name now. Yeah, I'm excited. I think Ground Zero, they're going to be feeling like they have a lot to prove because they're going to be very unhappy with how they played last regional, and they've always tended to show up in these final games, so I'm sure they're feeling very ready to prove all the doubters wrong.
I also couldn't disagree more. I feel like he looks nothing like Bengo, but, you know, we do have different eyes, I guess, at Torsos. Well, he slept before the game and maybe just woke up for the first goal.
Yeah, Torsos just nice finish, very quick. Bros on their toes, getting a little bit confused in defense. Yeah, Ground Zero, they're going to punish that if Bros on their toes make that kind of mistake too much.
I will point out as well, Airmac yesterday, for this team, for Bros on their toes, he was both their highest scorer and the top assister for this team. So if we're expecting solid things on the offense, it's going to come out from Airmac.
And then on Ground Zero, you know, we always talk about it. We have that Torsos Amphis kind of duo. Really wasn't connecting very well last regional, but in that match we saw yesterday, they're certainly starting to come back more alive.
Oh, you like the underdog story, and maybe up to Bros on their toes to deliver that one, as Asmo is looking for these dribbles out. They're not playing scared, which I think is a huge advantage when you're playing against one of the top two teams in the region.
Yeah, they're already keeping some nice pressure, keeping Ground Zero out of their half, and you know, these counterattacks can be dangerous though, but calmly defended as well, so well played from Bros on their toes.
I actually also fear a little bit here for Ground Zero. It doesn't feel like they're playing too sharp, too aggressive. They're playing it a little bit slower, but I guess it doesn't matter. Torsos is just banging his shots.
Yeah, they might just be wanting to warm up. They've never been the fastest team, but Torsos, yeah, really playing fast, playing aggressive as that third man role, and already getting 2 goals on the board.
Yeah, right. They always start a little bit slow, so for Ground Zero to get a 2-0 lead is bad signs here for Bros on their toes. Maybe they'll be able to get a goal here, though. They have a somewhat of an opening, but Negative are just playing a bit too inside that line.
Yeah, good chance, though. You can see he was really going for it, but Amphis, you know, these counterattacks are really looking dangerous for Ground Zero after Bros on their toes release that pressure.
And Ground Zero, what they've seemingly worked on is a much more demo-focused game. When we saw them playing yesterday, they had the most demos on the pitch. And across all of yesterday, they were the team with the most demos on the pitch. It doesn't feel like they're needing to rely on them right now. They're more just focusing on having good mechanics, going for some solo plays. They seem pretty chill and just not overcommitting.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of teams from OC mix in those kind of demos, but it's been a while since we've seen one team really focus on them. So it'd be such a great thing to add for Ground Zero, but it is tough going with demos if they bring their own risk.
It is very interesting as well that there's the top 2 teams in OCE right now, Ground Zero and Renegades, who are topping the demo charts. That's not always been the case, but maybe this is where the meta has really shifted to.
And yeah, but again, they're probably Ground Zero. They're definitely backing themselves to win here. Maybe just gonna focus more on a solid play style, and that's probably what they need after, you know, not looking the most solid last regional, just to get those kind of foundational rotations back.
Yeah, getting straight into the top 4 is gonna give them that confidence if they're able to do it, and if they're able to do it cleanly. They just saw Renegades go 4-0, so they'll definitely be looking to do the same, and maybe try and keep their streak forward as there's a bump coming in. Negative has played very well on that, and he is a player that I've felt in the past has been quite underrated.
Yeah, Negative, you know, that team, Hazard with Shripnator and, oh gosh, Sorexel. Yeah, they had that good major performance. Negative playing very solidly on that roster, and yeah, it's great to see new blood around him though with Asmo and Airmac, and like you said, Airmac just popping off with his stats, leading in shots, and, goals and assists. It's going to be exciting to watch these guys as we see them more.
Yeah, well, we will need to watch them for sure more. I mean, this is a real trial by fire when it comes to your first ever streamed game. They had a bit of a tough run yesterday and got through in the 5th series, but you know, to go up straight against Ground Zero in their first matchup is going to be very, very difficult for any team to shine in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about it though, the seeding, it's so important in that Swiss bracket for this exact reason. Just Ground Zero, Renegades, the 2 juggernauts, you can see just how dangerous their offense is.
Torsos has been the one scoring the goals here for Ground Zero, looking pretty sharp yesterday as well. But most notably, Amphis was very keen yesterday to push super far forward and provide that option that makes Ground Zero much more threatening. It's going to be leading them to more goals, I feel like, as this series goes on.
You can see Bros on their toes, very confident, not shying away from keeping pressure up, getting in the face of Ground Zero, and that's really helped them keep him only to a 2-goal game. They haven't got blown out in this first game, and it's showing that they can really keep this series close.
There should be another goal as it's a long way down, and Express doesn't end up stealing it. As you said, Bros on the toes are still playing confident, trying to get in the face, but that has led to a double commit, a team dump, and opening up here for Ground Zero.
Express always a very polite kind of guy in the OCE region. I think he might be one of the few players who wouldn't have stolen that one there.
Yeah, I feel like it's funny if you just steal that goal. You know, it's not like your teammate worked hard for it anyway. They're not going to be too upset. At Ground Zero here, they take it out 3-0. A slight chance for Bros on their toes at the end, but it is a clean run so far for Ground Zero.
And yeah, eyes on Ground Zero, they really look like they're fixing that kind of solidness that we're talking about. I mean, going to Game 7 against Riot, getting kind of owned by Renegades, they were really struggling in defense. And although Bros on their toes really brought it pressure-wise, they weren't able to create too many big chances.
I think the good thing here as well is Ground Zero yesterday went very cleanly through the bracket. Of course, they did go Game 5 against the Grogans in the first series. But outside of that, they went 3-0s, and that's what secured them that first seed overall. Got them into this side of the bracket, which, interestingly enough, was enough to avoid Renegades. Bros on their toes, they had a few more close games. Never had a 3-0 throughout their bracket.
Yeah, Ground Zero, they're really looking for that #1 spot this regional. They want to pretty much lock in that world spot, and yeah, it's a good run. It's interesting. Yeah, Renegades kind of made it so that it was kind of a 50-50 whether they would play against Ground Zero or not in the semis, but no, they found each other on the opposite side, and Ground Zero looking like, you know, they've shown up well for today.
Good clears coming out from Ground Zero too. So every time that Bros on their toes were on attack, if it didn't happen instantly, if there wasn't a quick goal scored, Ground Zero never really felt too threatened after that one. So maybe we see Bros on their toes play a bit more pressure-based, go for a demo on a player who can get a clear. I don't know, just try and change things up as much as you can just to keep Ground Zero on their toes.
Well, I'm hoping to see, you know, how Ermac has been delivering these stats. You can see there, almost a great assist, but it actually gets backboarded for Asmo to finish, and this is a nice start for Bros on their toes.
Negative. He's going to be the threatening player. Amphis has to cover the net, so that's why he's in 2 minds. And the first goal now, Bros on their toes, and they get the lead.
And they do it in a really nice, just quick way. Just honestly, Amphis just looked like he didn't expect that at all, which is very impressive for an underdog team.
Well, you can't not expect Bros on their toes to be able to do that. We see that all the time. We saw that when RLCS X started and the entire regions of NA and EU were opened up to have more than just 10 teams. All of a sudden, we saw the top teams getting taken out by a lot of the younger teams because they have the mechanics.
And they have the speed, like you can see. And yeah, if those teams can also play confidently, it is not easy to play this confidently on your first streamed match as a team. So Bros on their toes, starting off really well at the moment.
I think that's the beauty of playing against Ground Zero as well, is that they would come in with very little expectations, and that's starting to lead them towards some very fancy goal attempts, and that's what's allowing them to even open up the net. Ground Zero starting to really have to struggle towards these balls.
You can see they're just challenging everything so quickly, and now Ground Zero, they're starting to double commit, looking a bit shakier, and maybe this is what Twitch chat knew, just how aggressive this Bros on their toes team. Aggressive teams always able to really, you know, catch those Ground Zero teams off guard, and Asmo with a beautiful shot here to go 2 up.
Built purely off that quick play underneath his teammates, and good communication required there, and Express even caught off guard.
Yeah, just no one challenging. Asmo getting all the time in the world and just nailing it home with that shot.
Hey, this is so counter to game #1. However, I've already seen this so many times from Ground Zero. They get caught off guard, they get caught napping a little bit, and then 3.5 minutes to go, they're very capable of bringing back a 2-goal lead. So for Bros on their toes, I'll be even looking for a 3rd goal.
Yeah, it'll be interesting though, because Bros on their toes, it felt like the goals they gave away last game were a little bit soft, probably not what they'd normally be giving away. So I don't think Ground Zero have really outskilled them yet in the offense. So Bros on their toes might have the defense to keep Ground Zero out.
Well, they've managed to hold off another Ground Zero attack, and even with the demos coming, that actually leads to Bros on their toes having more in the defense. That's something they're going to have to worry about. There have been a few too many double commits coming out from Bros on their toes. However, they weren't punished because they still got the good touch.
Yeah, and they're just very fast in defense, cutting out these passes, challenging quickly, and not giving Ground Zero that time to use the most of their mechanics.
Oh, Airmac again outpacing Negative, going for the dunk. Bros on their toes. You wouldn't think that this is their first ever top 8 because they're taking it to Ground Zero, who are, for the first time in a long time, trapped in their defense.
Well, you also wouldn't think, I mean, these guys just scraped into the top 8 as well. 2 back-to-back Game 5s to come in 8th seed, but they look awesome at the moment, really comfortable playing against, you know, the number 1, number 2 team in the region at the moment.
You definitely see why they were able to get here in the first place. They had a tough journey, as we said, and even had to take on both Riot and Rancid Rats, which were their 2 losses in their bracket. Their wins have made them in a tough position, yet a good one here. 2 minutes left, and I think they'll be able to hold on here.
Yeah, I mean, they even almost got that 3rd goal you said they needed. I mean, you can see still aggressive, still very fast, and just looking very confident in defense now.
We thought that this would be a great series for Ground Zero to get into it, but they're kind of looking how they played early on in that grand final against Renegades. They're playing so far back. Amphis never pushing forward. They are going for a few more demos than we saw in that one, but for the most part, Bros on their toes are keeping them in an area where they're not even threatening the goal.
Yeah, you're right. It's not the Ground Zero we're used to seeing. We normally say Ground Zero, they're a team where they're just eventually going to score. It is so, or at least it was so hard to shut out Ground Zero, but now it looks like off the back of a clean sheet, Bros on their toes might do it in this game too.
I'm actually interested. Like, are Ground Zero scared in these matches? Why are they going so defensive? Because we talked to them. We talked to Torsos yesterday, and he said he wants to find that playstyle they had last season. And that was a hyper-aggressive playstyle. Not quite as aggressive, of course, as the old Renegades, but still it was about outscoring the opponents rather than keeping a clean score sheet.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like they might have the Cringe Society problem. There's Torsos actually making it a bit interesting. Torsos really being the one to push forward and make those aggressive plays happen to get these goals.
And a great setup by Amphis to flip reset into the Musty. And that caught out everyone from Bros on the toes, a triple commit, not a single piece of contact. And this actually does get pretty nerve-wracking as the Spanish kickoff does come out too. Something that Ground Zero are known for, and it's led to the opening.
Oh, that is so disappointing. So disappointed after that last goal, and this is why it's just Ground Zero. They will punish any small mistake, and Negative just missing the ball at a crucial point.
This is what Ground Zero really worked on in that winter split. Their kickoff game was so good, and I thought for most of this, with only 1 minute remaining, that Bros on the toes would keep the leads. But Ground Zero, they are a championship team for a reason. They really are looking to go through. And it's a save out. Bros on the toes managed to get underneath. They can't hold it off forever. Amphis over the top.
Oh, so disappointing. Ground Zero playing really well, and just like you said, Yummy, they started pushing people forward, starting getting in their face, and that's how Ground Zero score. And when they're not doing that, they don't quite look that confident.
I thought Ground Zero would be like a cornered animal throughout this. I'm very surprised that Ground Zero go for another Spanish here, as they get the guys. It's a sick one from Amphis, but very surprising when they already had the lead.
Such a fast double touch here from Amphis, reading the awkward kind of corner bounce really beautifully. And Amphis, if he can score more of those, that might be the change Ground Zero need to win this regional.
We'll find out if that does continue, but all good signs. We've seen 2 great plays from Amphis in a row. And he's always been a confidence player. Once he gets a little bit, he takes way more and he starts really popping off. So you could see it again as he goes for another musty and secures the game for Ground Zero.
Yeah, he's got the big smile on his face as well. So he's definitely feeling good after that goal. But yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, the big point we're seeing is Ground Zero, they are looking like kind of that Cringe Society playstyle of just being a bit too relaxed in their style and not able to score as many goals. You know, if we ignore the last minute of that game.
I think it's hard to ignore the last minute where that was where 4 goals were scored, but you are right. Ground Zero, it almost felt like they underestimated their opponents and they got into that zone where it's like, let's play really safe, fundamental Rocket League, and just assume that we'll win based off our mechanics. But that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, now we'll see Ken Bros on their toes keep it up as well, because it's difficult to play this well against Ground Zero, especially, you know, they're a new team, they're probably not super used to this high speed of play, so if it does just come naturally to them, that could really help them moving forward.
We'll see how Bros on the Toes manage this one as we're about to head into game number 3, but interestingly enough, no timeout calling as well.
That's such a disappointing kind of loss. I think, yeah, I agree with you. I think it'd be a good time to call a timeout, but generally, pretty much every team only calls the timeout once they get to match point. They're really not big fans of the early timeout.
Yeah, I think the only team that we've seen do that was Renegades in the grand final against Ground Zero. Everyone else has waited till the 3rd game, and it hasn't worked out for anyone. Bros on their toes, though. We've seen great signs of them. We know now that they have great potential here. We'll see if they can make use of that one. It is right in front of the nets, and they managed to get the save. So Bros on the Toes still stay alive here on 0-0.
Yeah, keeping up that really fast-paced kind of defense, not letting Ground Zero outpace them in front of their net. But Ground Zero, you can already see how much more confident they look.
And clear down as well as Airmac puts on a strong shot. Torsos is always going to make those saves. They're very comfortable on that goal line. Torsos, especially as a solo player, always comfortable in the defense. And that's going to make it hard for Bros on the Toes to get the goal unless they've got multiple people in attack.
Yeah, as well with the timeout, I don't think Bros on their toes have to overthink their strategy too much. I mean, they really had Ground Zero in that last game. Again, ignoring the last minute. They played super well. You can see here the defense is back, and I think it was just a bit of a slip, but no, it feels like Ground Zero bringing something else now.
It is a great pass, and they've kept a lot of pressure up here. You saw the boost starting to lower for a lot of these players. Asmo trying to play a bit too fast and ends up getting caught out, and Express just threads the needle.
You're right. That was just a beautiful pass there from Torsos, and Express really, he's been the player this series to find himself in those very aggressive positions. And, you know, we saw him going for bumps that weren't quite working out before, but that's a very high impactful opening goal. Very
strong here for Ground Zero. And we'll see if they're able to continue this march. We're looking again for that 4-0. We're looking for a really comfortable play. We're looking for the mechanics to warm up, especially from Torsos and Amphis. And we've seen it already from Amphis. We've seen some goals from Express. We just need to see Torsos go into that next level too.
Yeah, well, I mean, Torsos was the one who really opened up this game playing nice and quick, but now it feels like everyone from Ground Zero, they're all following each other's touches really quickly. They're not playing that kind of, you know, timid, kind of relaxed style we were saying was a bit surprising, and you can see Ground Zero, they just feel so solid at scoring goals when they play that aggressive kind of play style.
Memphis is even looking for some roof plays here, and it might be another one. Hat-trick for Express? No, it'll still be Torsos who gets the clincher.
Yeah, Torsos, this is like his 4th goal of the series already, just playing super close up in that 3rd-man position. Bros on their toes, you know, they have been making those super fast kind of double committee kind of saves, but that is how it tends to break down. Just that one bad touch and you instantly get punished.
They're a bit panicky here in the defense, and maybe respecting Ground Zero a bit too much. That shot from Express was really just to open up the net, to force out the touch in the first place, and it was really Bros on the Toes that ended up opening it up for Torsos.
We haven't seen Bros on their toes really dominating the offense in this game either. It's really been all Ground Zero, just hitting Bros on their toes in their half, and you can see that the clears just really aren't there.
So Ground Zero can get another one, as that's a great infield pass, but Amphis can't read the bounce down. It was a close chance, and those are the infield plays that make them so deadly because they cross that up with the solo plays.
Yeah, no, really beautiful passing coming out of Ground Zero. They're really not doing it too much either, not making it super predictable. Every pass they've done, there's been a very serious scoring opportunity.
See if Negative can get a play on his own as he's dribbling it out. Asmo and Airmac have the support, and I do expect them to have a good connection too. So it is a pretty fresh roster. We saw them not quite even qualify for the first event. In the first event, they didn't even make it into the top 16, but they were one of the favorites. They were actually the 17th seed. So good to see them get in the second event and go even further.
Yeah, again, they feel like they belong in this top 8. They're playing really well, bringing it to Ground Zero, and it's a little bit disappointing to see them, come up against Ground Zero, because Ground Zero, when they're playing well, they just can create these big score lines, which looks like so easily.
And Express getting his hat trick. 90k off Amphas's pass as they go to a 4-0, and it's really interesting here for Bros on their toes. At this point, you just got to throw everything and the kitchen sink at it. Go for some risks, go for some big plays, have some fun with this game, and hope that you can at least turn the tides for game number 4.
Yeah, it's got to be a tough game mentally for these guys as well. They really haven't had any chance. You can see they're starting to freestyle now, and that might help them with their mentality, just to reset. You got that reverse sweep, you got to get ready for after this game. So it's really important these guys just reset.
If you think about reverse sweeping Ground Zero in a best of 7, then I absolutely applaud you. I don't think I'd ever cross my mind that it would be possible for me to be able to do it if I was playing on the pitch. We'll see if Bros on the toes are in that position. They went to 2 Game 5s yesterday, so definitely going to be comfortable in those final game moments.
Yeah, but Ground Zero just something else. You can see just how threatening they are. Again, Bros on their toes, defending so well, but when it's coming at you so consistently like this, it's just so difficult to be consistent.
Ground Zero as well, spreading out quite a lot, so if their play doesn't go their way, it's all right. They'll have the backup for that second touch coming out from Bros of the Toes, who do double commit once again, and that's not really helping them in terms of their transition onto the offense. They now have 0 boost. They don't have the players, but a double commit from Ground Zero just to help them out a little bit. Yeah,
beautifully cleared there though from Torsos. But it's a nice opportunity, but no 2 people back for Ground Zero. And Ground Zero really feel like they've solidified their defense as well as their offense in this game.
This could have been a chance, but Airmac unfortunately landed backwards. That was the best opportunity that Bros on their toes could have had in these dying moments. Ground Zero, they should be able to hold on for these last 7 seconds. They do more than that. They turn it into a 5-0.
Yeah, Ground Zero looking like they're just having fun now. Express really being on the back of almost all of these goals, playing very aggressively and kind of making up for everything not working super smoothly with that Amphas Torsos combo at the moment.
We do have series where Express will just pop off in terms of either setting up goals or scoring a million of them, and it's usually a team effort. Ground Zero looking like a true team right now.
And Torsos looking a bit tired. They all look like, they're already go GG next. Bros on their toes, they really, this might be the time to get the timeout, figure out what went so well in that game 2 and what didn't in game 3. What do you think was the big thing that changed there, Yummy?
I think Ground Zero changed. I think they look so much more confident to go forward. And Bros on the toes, when that happened, subconsciously, I'm guessing, moved further back themselves. It gave so much more room to Amphas to make plays. And I don't know what you do. You either have to go and just challenge them for everything, which is probably my preferred method, or probably go for those demos on their third man just to make them feel a little awkward.
Yeah, demos can really, frustrate a team and get them out of their smooth flowing. Because you're right, it really just felt like Ground Zero stepped up. And when you're playing Ground Zero, who are playing, at their peak, and you're the number 8 team in the seeding coming in, it's hard to think about what you can really do against that.
I mean, it has been a meteoric climb. They came as the 17th seed, and now they're playing the number 1 seed. Of course, earned that position here in the top 8. But it is not looking too ideal for them at the moment. They haven't called the timeout. but they still have to figure out a way to get back into the series.
Yeah, I just want to see them playing fast again. That really did seem to be what was catching Ground Zero off guard. They just had very fast, explosive offense, and if they can figure out how to get out of their defense and make that happen,
The defense as well. I mean, every single one of these goals, you'll see two people going for the save. And that means that you don't have a player going out for a pass to get out of defense so easily. That's also why Ground Zero have been able to have attacks like this, where it was purely about getting multiple shots on and waiting for the net to open up.
Yeah, and it feels like that's what Renegades have been really good at recently, is having that organized kind of defense, just trusting that one person to make the save. Like you're saying, cheating up to help them get that big clear out. Because yeah, if you're kind of just like flopping around, double committing for everything, it kind of sets up Ground Zero just to be patient and just keep hammering your goal with shots.
Express as well, coming through with a big game. As you say, getting a hat-trick, getting an assist as well. So 4 goals credited towards him. And we will see. We've seen big plays coming out from Amphis and Torsos. I'm expecting at least one montage play from either team in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Amphis already got that really nice double touch. I mean, for Amphis, that's not even particularly montage worthy, right? So, yeah, Ground Zero, they might be starting to have some fun now. You know, when they're feeling good, they can score some incredible goals.
We have seen in the past, though, when they have too much of a lead, they have gone really silly and just pre-jumped everything like we see from Torsos. And it sometimes breaks them down. We'll see if that is the case, and that might even be the advantage of them having 2 days here where they'll be able to reset between the quarterfinals and semifinals, because that's often where it cost them in the past. Yeah,
and it could be some good growth from Ground Zero if they can fix that. That's a really nice goal here. Amphis just controlling the ball really nicely, and Torsos just gunning it upfield to get that demo.
That's pretty signature from Ground Zero nowadays. It's either Express moving forward or Amphis or Torsos all getting involved. Express is the one most known for his demos, but nowadays Torsos and Amphis are so much more at it. In fact, yesterday Amphis and Torsos had more demos than Express across the day.
Yeah, so it's really exciting to see if they can consistently keep that up. That could be a real big change if they do end up getting that Renegades rematch later in the tournament.
It would have to be the grand final if it's a Renegades rematch, and we're kind of looking at the bracket. It's very likely to be Dire Wolves up against them, or for Kidden. Both teams that could take Ground Zero down, but not Ground Zero at their best, I feel like.
I mean, we saw Riot so close to taking them out, and you know, for Kidden and Dire Wolves, definitely, if Riot can take them that close, I don't think Ground Zero would feel super confident going up against those two.
Again, Riot have settled themselves in as the 3rd best team in the region, and that was on a day where Ground Zero, admittedly, by what we know and what Ground Zero know, played poorly, as Bros on their toes do get one on the board. So it's been a couple of games, but they finally bring one back after 5 minutes off.
Yeah, maybe Ground Zero being a bit silly like we were talking about. Very overextended, all 3 of them pretty much in the Bros on their toes half, and Bros on their toes doing a really good job of getting that quick counterattack goal.
You know, I forgot, but Ground Zero were the last team to get best of 7 reverse swept. It was by Riot when they felt like really comfortable against the Riot gaming team that was Walcott, Spydoge, and Ladakh at the time.
Yeah.
And it bit them. They got too casual and they got reverse swept, and Riot went on to win the entire event. You could maybe see that here. It's going to be still tough to see because Ground Zero still getting a lot of control in this game regardless.
Yeah, and Bros on their toes, still very new to this kind of, you know, pace, tournament setting. Even the stream jitters could be getting to them as well. So going to be a lot more difficult, but I mean, a lot more impressive if it does happen, right?
Yeah, Riot, of course, had already been to Worlds, and they already had played on stage a lot and had those nerves. We'll be able to calm those nerves when they got close to winning the series. It's going to be much harder for Bros on the toes. When you get into this as an underdog, and as such a heavy underdog, you don't worry about the start of the series. It's actually the end of the series when you have a chance to actually get the win that the nerves start kicking in.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe they're feeling pretty, you know, definitely, it wouldn't be too surprising to see them go out 4-0, but I think, what was it, the game 2? That'd certainly be disappointing in keeping them up tonight, but they're keeping themselves in this game 1-1 going down to the final 2 minutes. Anything can start to happen when it's just a 1-goal separator.
Torsos again hitting the backboard and trying to set up some plays for Ground Zero as they don't quite get that in. Amphis was trying to find it coming off the post, but we're still seeing them get some good pressure.
I thought that looked like it was almost like an own goal actually, but Bros on their toes getting a nice quick counterattack, and that's actually in. Asmo, beautiful shot to take the lead.
Is this it? Are Bros on the toes able to get one in this series? A great shot from Asmo.
Wow.
Top corner, Express is covering everything else.
So fast coming from the side. That is a very awkward angle. I'm not even sure Ground Zero were expecting that. So really well played, and we'll see can Bros on their toes hold the lead this time.
Not surprising to see another fake kickoff coming out from Ground Zero. Surprising to see Torsos miss that one though. That could have been their best opportunity to get a quick counter goal. Even still, Amphis looking for the flip reset, gets a little bit away from him. So clearing out from Bros on their toes. And that's what they'll need to do. They offered Ground Zero too much space when they had the 2-goal lead before. Now they need to get rid of that.
Yeah, but you can see actually it's double commit, so they're maybe getting a little bit nervous to keep that pressure on, and Ground Zero just feels so dangerous in front of the Bros on their toes net.
Great air dribble out from Air Mac too, but it's shut down very quickly here by Ground Zero. You can see Bros on the toes, not pushing too hard, giving a bit of space, but still backing each other up well. And Asmo looking towards a game win here. 30 seconds left. Bros on their toes, coming in as the 17 seed. Maybe even able to take a game off
no!
Ground Zero. No!
Oh, it's so similar to game 2, Yummy, just in the dying seconds. And the own goal, that's so disappointing.
Oh, at least Amphis was going to score that if it didn't come off the defender. 18 seconds left. Bros on the toes. All we wanted you to do was take this game. They haven't been able to do that, but they still have the chance to do it. 10 seconds left, and a chance right now is Express. Awkward on the backboard. No! Asmo, please!
Oh, Asmo, that was the shot. Bros on their toes, they just keep missing those clutch opportunities to send these games home, and in overtime this is going to be a nervy one because Bros on their toes are going to have so much regret if they lose this.
Oh, it's been a disaster for Bros on their toes the last just 20 seconds. This reminds me so much of game number 2. Torsos avoids the demo there, or that could have been the goal for Bros. Ground Zero still circling, but it's great to see Bros on the toes are making them sweat.
Yeah, and almost an opportunity there. Amphis getting left completely alone. Not quite able to score yet, but you can see both teams playing this overtime very fast.
Bros on their toes in the defense, and this time they play in that passing position. Asmo, the one to move forward, playing more confidently, more ready to take on Ground Zero here as Asmo's even in the corner trying to steal Express's boost. We'll see if Amphis can get the follow-up touch, but shut down again by Bros.
Wow, you can see how aggressive they're playing as well. They're just gunning it upfield every chance they get, looking for those demos. It hasn't quite worked yet, and it can open up solo play opportunities like this, but no, Airmac defending well.
And a change, no double commit, should help out Bros as well. Still going to be dangerous as the high ball always favors Ground Zero and their aerial mechanics. And yet Bros on their toes aren't looking like they're in a too difficult position. Open space as well, which will just provide the clear, and that was necessary. No boost on 2 out of 3 of their players.
Yeah, I was surprised Ground Zero let up on the pressure. Again, maybe a little too relaxed going into this overtime. They're going to be feeling pretty blessed to be here, so it's tough. You want to see Ground Zero keeping up that pressure, being the best team they can, but Bros on their toes certainly making it difficult for them.
I think Ground Zero would really want to stay on a 4-0 here and just get out the series. Just for their own confidence, if anything. Asmo's been strong on the shots all series long. That one looks like it could be deadly. Another backboarder shot on. Asmo can't get past Express. Another save, and 2 minutes into overtime, we're seeing Bros pick it up.
Asmo playing so fast, getting so many opportunities and just missing. He's being really tricky here, but no, it gets taken out. But Bros on their toes, really testing Ground Zero's defense.
Amphis now an opportunity the other way, but he gets demoed out cheekily by Negative. Gives Asmo a bit of space on the ball, but now you're in trouble. Torsos with time on the ball. Amphis as well with the double, with maybe a triple. He actually backs off. And that gives Express just a bit of room to get it back to Torsos. Another solo play attempt here from Torsos. They're not committing too many people to this ball, and that's allowing Bros on their toes to just hold on.
Yeah, Bros on their toes, really solid in defense. We've seen far less double commits coming out now. They're looking a lot more organized and not too worried about these plays coming out of Ground Zero.
Chance here for Negative, but pre-jump from Express shuts it down again. You can see Ground Zero starting to respect Bros in the air as they're challenging many of these plays early. Bros on their toes, maybe a rough to go for that shot, especially as it's opened up a demo play here for Ground Zero. That's made them very awkward too, as the last player from Bros has to spawn. No boost on any of them, almost an open net, but Airmac was there just in the nick of time to get the clear. Torsos again hitting the backboard, 3 minutes into overtime, and Amphis has made a mistake.
Amphis flipping, not able to get that goal. Oh my god, Bros on their toes looking so much more threatening on the counter-attack now. Ground Zero really pushing forward, but not quite able to find that goal. Yes, almost another own goal, but it gets saved.
I'm so glad Negative didn't score that one. We had an 8-minute overtime, ended with a own goal yesterday in Apex South. We don't want to return with that one again. Torsos, it's not in, and this one off the crossbar. It's going to go off the defender, and there's just no different way that this series could have ended. Both defenders too.
Oh, he got everyone. Amphis just slowing it down. Such a brutal way to end. So disappointing for Bros on their toes, but boy, when they were playing well in that series, they were really bringing it to Ground Zero.
Well, Ground Zero, though, they just have way too much class. They have the mechanics and they have the experience. They take it and they move through to the semi-finals. We're looking at a very good spot here for Ground Zero to be looking at least for another grand final run.
Well, I can see Bros on their toes actually dominating the shots in that game as well. Very similar on ball touches. Ground Zero generally going for more of those solo plays, but Bros on their toes. Game 2 and Game 4, they've got to be so disappointed that they couldn't take that home.
Yeah, I mean, Hysteria. Hysteria.
That was.
Yeah, it was Hysteria all around. I'm in hysterics too. Let's get out of here.
Do me a favor next time, Yummy. Don't talk about an own goal ending the series right as the own goal comes through. I was watching that and it hurt me so much.
Oh, it was a good call, Yummy. Yeah, I mean, it kind of... Oh, it was just Ground Zero just peppering it so much, but Bros on their toes, just so disappointing. They played so well, the defense was so on point, but Ground Zero, when they're attacking like that, it's eventually going to go in.
There were so many little signs that Bros on their toes will be returning to this spot. I think as well, they are a team that have so much improvement on them too. This was such a class experience for them to get to play a top team on the stream for the first time. So I am expecting to see them again.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this peak out of them because, boy, they just played awesomely when they were playing very well. And we saw lots of close series yesterday for them. But if they can play at their peak more often, they'll be a very dangerous team.
This could have been 2-2 as well at this point, and we move into a completely tied game. It's two scenarios where Bros on their toes have an incredibly unfortunate thing happen to them, and Ground Zero just come back.
Look how relieved Torsos is. He must have been getting frustrated. And
I know Torsos well enough, and you should too, to know that he's like, I can't believe this happened in this match, that there was that own goal to end it off. He gets equally as disappointed in his own performance as his opponents. He'll be mad when they make a mistake too.
Yeah, no, just, I don't know. I think Ground Zero would have been surprised with that Bros on their toes performance though.
I've been paying attention to their comms, and that's the thing I love about the cams. Obviously, I have no clue what they're saying, but it very much seemed as if Airmac, he was holding entire monologues, talking the entire time, whereas Negative sometimes put something in between, probably I got, and that's pretty much all he said.
Well, we also have some more things to say. We've got Express coming in for the interview, and Express, a 4-0 as you head towards this semi-finals. You feeling good?
Yeah, definitely still building. I think yesterday was quite good for us. We were pretty pleased with how we played, but wasn't a great day for us today. So, you know, hopefully we'll clean it up for tomorrow.
You say hopefully. Is that something you're going to be actively trying to change? And if so, what are you going to try and do to change the momentum?
I mean, for us, it's just about building confidence. I think we were really lacking any kind of confidence last regional, to be honest, throughout the entire thing. So we're just trying to build up some confidence in our gameplay and our individual ability, I guess, and sort of bring that into our game. So.
And you guys looked pretty calm in the opening games in that series, but Bros on their toes, they really seemed to press you in moments there. Were you surprised by you know, the style they brought out?
Not really. I think that was sort of on us making a few mistakes and having a few miscomms and moments where we weren't sure what was happening. So yeah, I think that was more on our end, to be honest. Yeah, it's a bit sloppy, so yeah.
And I like putting you on the spot. So who are the two teams making it into the grand final this weekend?
Us and maybe, right? Can they go for... can they beat Renegades 3 times in a row? I don't know. Maybe.
We'll see if that happens. I think it's a great, bold prediction, and we'll see if that does come true. But thanks again for coming on, and we'll see you tomorrow.
No worries. Thank you.
So it's all about confidence here for Ground Zero. If they're feeling good, as we know, they'll play good.
I wonder
it's
what...
in the back of his mind.
Yeah,
he thinks about Renegades, and he doesn't want to say it, though. He very much wants to refrain from saying Renegades in the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, there's some serious beef between those two teams at the moment. So I'm hoping to see that grand final rematch for sure.
We'll see if that does happen. We've seen it multiple times in OCE throughout its history, and we may see it again this weekend. We've still got to confirm maybe if Riot even make it to that semi-finals, so let's wait till later in the day. Dire Wolves versus Fukiden up next.